Can you read this letter? It's very important." The small voice cut through the silence of the executive floor like a whisper in a storm. Grayson Mercer, CEO of Mercer Industries, looked down from his paperwork to find the little girl in a red dress standing at his office doorway, clutching a crumpled envelope with trembling hands. His assistant hovered nervously behind her. "Mr. Mercer, I'm so sorry, she slipped past." But Grayson raised his hand. Something in the child's eyes, wide, brown, and impossibly earnest, made him pause. At 33, he'd built an empire on cold decisions and closed doors. Yet here was this child, no more than 4 years old, looking at him like he held the answer to something that mattered more than quarterly profits. "It's all right, Dana," he said quietly, then crouched down to the girl's level. "What's your name?" "Lily. Lily Harrison. My mommy works downstairs, in the computer's place. She doesn't know I'm here." Grayson glanced at the letter in her small hands. The envelope was decorated with crayon flowers and stars. "And this letter?" "It's for you." Her voice cracked slightly. "My mommy wrote it, but she's too scared to give it to you. She says you're very busy and important, but I'm not scared, and it's really, really important." Something shifted in Grayson's chest, a feeling he'd buried under years of boardroom battles and brutal efficiency. He took the letter gently. "Would you like to sit while I read it?" Lily nodded and climbed onto the leather couch by the window, her little feet dangling high above the floor. She watched him with an intensity that seemed far too old for her age. Grayson opened the envelope. The handwriting was careful, measured, each word chosen with precision. "Dear Mr. Mercer, my name is Rebecca Harrison. I've worked in your IT department for 3 years. I'm writing to request an exception to the company's leave policy. My daughter Lily has been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. She needs me now more than ever, but I've exhausted my medical leave. The treatments are failing. We're moving to palliative care. I'm not asking for special treatment. I know businesses have rules. But Lily asked me about something yesterday, something I've never been able to give her. She wants to go to the ocean. She's never seen it. She wants to feel the sand and collect shells and watch the sunset over the water, just once. If I could have 2 weeks, unpaid, I don't expect salary, I could take her. I could give her that memory. I could give her peace. I understand if this isn't possible. Thank you for your time. Rebecca Harrison." The words blurred slightly. Grayson read it twice, then looked up at Lily, who was watching him with those ancient, knowing eyes. "Your mommy wrote this?" he asked softly. "Yes, but she said you probably wouldn't read it, that important people don't have time for people like us." Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. "But I thought, maybe if I asked you myself, maybe you'd understand." "Understand what, sweetheart?" Lily's eyes filled with tears. "That I just want to see the ocean before I can't anymore." She stopped, swallowing hard. The walls Grayson had spent years building, brick by brick, meeting by meeting, loss by loss, began to crack. He thought of his own childhood, of his mother who'd worked 3 jobs and still found time to take him to the lake each summer. Of the night she'd held him after his father left, promising that kindness wasn't weakness, that human connection was worth more than any fortune. He'd forgotten that. Somewhere between the success and the suits and the corner office, he'd forgotten what mattered. "Lily," he said, his voice rougher than intended, "does your mommy know you're up here?" She shook her head, fresh tears spilling over. "She'll be mad. But I had to try. I had to." Her small shoulders shook. "I don't want her to be sad when I'm gone. I want her to remember something happy. I want—" Hey, he moved to sit beside her, and without thinking, put a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You did the right thing. You were very brave." Will you say no?" Her voice was barely audible. Grayson looked at this child, this fierce, terrified, hopeful child who had somehow found the courage to walk through his door when her own mother couldn't. He thought of all the times he'd said no, all the times policy mattered more than people, all the times efficiency trumped empathy. Not today. No, Lily, I won't say no. The next hour moved quickly. Grayson called Rebecca up to his office. Her face went white with panic when she saw Lily there, and before she could apologize or explain, he told her to take 4 weeks, paid, and handed her an envelope containing a check that would cover accommodations near the coast and any medical support she might need. Rebecca stared at the check, then at him, tears streaming down her face. "Mr. Mercer, I can't accept." "Yes, you can, and you will. Because your daughter came up here and reminded me of something I'd forgotten, that we're human first, that connection matters more than profit margins, that kindness—" He paused, his own voice catching. "That kindness is never wasted." Rebecca broke down completely. Lily climbed into her mommy's lap, wrapping small arms around her neck. "I told you he'd understand, Mommy. I told you." 3 weeks later, Grayson received another letter. This one had a photo clipped to it. Rebecca and Lily on a beach at sunset, both smiling, both radiant. Lily held a bucket of shells. The ocean stretched endlessly behind them. The letter was shorter this time. "Mr. Mercer, there aren't words big enough. Lily collected 47 shells. She laughed in the waves. She tasted salt water and said it was magic. She told me she feels peaceful now, that whatever happens, she has this. You gave her more than a vacation. You gave her closure, and you gave me a memory I'll carry forever. She wanted me to tell you something. She said, 'Tell Mr. Mercer that he's not scary anymore. Tell him his heart is good.' With more gratitude than I can express, Rebecca." Grayson sat at his desk, the photo in his hands, and let the tears come. That night, he drafted a new company policy, compassionate leave for medical emergencies, no questions asked. He donated to pediatric cancer research. He started remembering people's names in the elevator. 6 months later, when Lily passed away peacefully in her sleep, Grayson attended the small memorial service. Rebecca hugged him for a long time, not saying anything because nothing needed to be said. At the service, she read a letter Lily had dictated in her final days. "Dear Mr. Mercer, thank you for reading my letter. Thank you for having a kind heart. I hope you keep being nice to people because it feels really good when someone is nice to you. The ocean was beautiful, and you're beautiful too, inside. Love, Lily." Years later, Grayson would keep that photo on his desk, not hidden in a drawer, but displayed where everyone could see it. When people asked about it, he'd tell them about a 4-year-old girl in a red dress who taught him what really mattered. He'd tell them how she shattered his walls with a simple question, "Can you read this letter?" And how the answer, just saying yes, changed everything. Sometimes, he'd say softly, the most important thing we can do is see people, really see them, accept them, connect with them. That's where life happens. That's where we find meaning. He touched the frame gently. A little girl taught me that, and I'll never forget her. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, subscribe, and comment.